Everyone, Chris here with your fishing forecast for May 29th, 2024. We're coming up to the end of the month. We're a month into trout season and things couldn't be looking any better. We had some nice cool weather roll through this week compared to the heat wave of last. Some rain that came through. Temperatures are down. Fishing is on. Looking at the trout scene, trout continues to be great. Some rivers that were touch and go last week due to temperatures are now perfectly fine. Still want to keep an eye on temps and probe things as you go, but in general, we are a-okay for trout at the moment. Looking at the Grand River tends to pick up into the month of June. Water temps come up to a more favorable place. Those fish tend to kick into high gear about this time. I was fishing it on Sunday and landed two really nice fish and a bunch of smaller ones as well. They definitely seem to be ticking up activity level wise. So if you haven't had a lot of success on that river to this point, now will be the time to get back out there and give it a shot, specifically in the stretch I would say below Fergus. That's going to be your slightly more prime temperature range water, but of course it will fish well all the way up to the dam. On the credit, fishing continues to be really good. Our green drakes started popping off last weekend. They'll be winding down now, but you will still have the opportunity to get some of those fish to eat a green drake just because it's been imprinted in their brains. So they've been eating them over the weekend. The next few days should cough up some fish on green drakes as well if you want to fish those big dry flies. Otherwise, hatches to watch out for: gray foxes and stoneflies on the credit. Both large insects. The stoneflies can go all the way up to big size 6s, and the foxes tend to be a nice size 12 or so mayfly. Really fun fish as well. Other than that, your standard nymphs, hares, ears, pheasant tails will continue to do well, and stonefly nymphs, as those bugs do get ready to emerge, they'll be a lot more active and likely to get swept up in the currents, so definitely worth fishing stonefly nymphs and dries. On other rivers, Isonychias are starting to kick off. We've got brown drakes on the Grand. Caddis are coming off on the Grand in good numbers now. So lots of fun stuff no matter where you're at. It's a good time to get out. Streamers as well. We've had some rain roll through. We've got a little bit of stain to some of our rivers. Not so much that you can't fish them with a dry or a nymph, but it will make those big fish more bold and catchable on streamers. So this is a really good time. Temps are good to go chase fish on big streamers if that's your thing. Looking at other species, we've got pike still going strong. Those pike will have moved out of the shallows for the most part now and are on weed beds. Things were a little bit slow last week with the really hot temps, but I had reports coming through over the weekend that shallow areas had cooled down considerably. Colder water got washed into them, and those fish came back up relatively shallow and definitely got a lot more active. So definitely looking at pike this week, targeting those weed beds in anywhere from 10 to 20 feet of water, call it, for most water bodies, or if you don't have that available, look for standing timber and rocky points adjacent to deeper water will produce very well. And then we've got carp. Carp continues to be great. Those fish are going to start getting more and more onto the spawn. As fish are actively spawning, they will feed a little bit less and be harder to catch. So if you see fish that are really rolling on top of each other and jumping and splashing, don't get too distracted by those. Look outside of those fish. You will more than likely find fish that are either pre or post spawn that are actively feeding. So same as usual, basically we're looking for mudding fish, looking for fish with their noses down, or fish that are sort of working in along, cruising, looking like they're hunting as well. If you're in Great Lakes, small goby patterns, dragonfly nymphs, small crayfish, all very good bets. If you're on the more inland systems, mix in some nymph patterns in smaller sizes as well, and that's kind of the recipe for carp success around here. As always, come down to the shop. We'd be happy to make your next weekend a success. Good luck out there. We'll see you there.